I'm Kevin with E.D.G Game, and today we're going to be unboxing Primal The Awakening by Reggie Games.
Yes.
Reggie Games. So this is a massive, massive boss battler. Something you crowdfunded a year or two ago?
Yeah, I crowdfunded it in January of 21, and I only got it like late last week, so...
So we're gonna do the base box. We're gonna do as many expansions, just depending on time. But this is, like I said, a very massive unboxing. Tons of miniatures, some deck building elements, and yeah, I'm excited. So we're gonna get into this one. We also are gonna be doing a tasting as we talk about the gameplay, as we talk about the components. So don't miss this one. Alright, so before we get started, I got this Juice Wolves. There's a wolf boss in this, right?
There's a wolf boss in this?
Yeah, I think there's a wolf boss. I think I saw that one.
There's a lot of bosses. I don't have them all memorized.
So it kind of pulled to me that I thought this would kind of work. This is a Pineapple Milkshake IPA. It's by Skydance Brewing Company, which I didn't even know anything about, but they're out of Oklahoma City.
I've never heard of them before, so I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, so this is definitely one of those ones that I would be more than willing to check out at some point as far as on location, because that's not too far from us.
Not at all.
I'm going to roll this guy for a second, and then we'll get this guy open. But it should be cloudy. Should be cloudy. If you want to hand me a glass, we'll get these guys poured. So, as far as Primal The Awakening, because I didn't know anything about this until you told me you're backing it. So it was definitely something that pulled you in.
Yeah, I got really excited when I saw it on Kickstarter just because the Monster Hunter video game series has always been something that intrigued me, but I always struggled to get into it because I didn't have a reliable group to play with. And so having something like this that didn't require a reliable group that I could do in, my own way, that's what really intrigued me, was just having that Monster Hunter style board game. Ironically enough, there is a Monster Hunter board game that came out very shortly after this on Kickstarter, but...
Well, I do have to say, as far as games that I haven't backed, this is probably the most excited one I have been to get into it. It's got a little bit of sour.
Little bit of sour, yeah.
Not like a crazy amount, but I think the pineapple is what really...
It is very faint on the pineapple, very faint on the milkshake. I'm not really sure where they got that description, but it's good.
It's good.
It is good.
So this box is massive.
It is. It is quite massive.
And it's heavy. I went and picked up a couple of, what I think are some of my heavier games, and obviously the box is bigger than those, but it's big.
I haven't personally weighed it, but FedEx did, so if I went to my tracking information, I'm certain I could find a weight number for you.
And this is if you put all the expansions together, they probably almost add up to this box size.
Yeah, absolutely. The expansions are basically another one of these.
So it's a lot of content.
It is a lot of content.
So before we actually get into this, I will say we are planning on getting some plays of this once we kind of get the hang of this, so we'll definitely be checking this out a couple different times, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
But if you want to cut the shrink,
all right,
you do the honors, man.
Let's do it. Oh goodness. I'm gonna cut more of that so that I'm not over here just pulling on it. I don't have the luxury of putting my beer off the table, so I don't want to shake things too much.
Yeah, we got to get some aftermarket table accessories from J Labs here at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So I did buy a couple other things for another video, and the first thing I thought of, which was something that came up a couple months ago, was I need an ice bucket.
You need to get a what?
Ice bucket.
An ice bucket?
Yeah. A cool one,
right.
Engraved ice bucket.
Well, here we are. Shrink wrap is off. Maybe I can figure out how to...
I bet it's...
How about you put this over here?
No, you're good.
The last thing I need is to have something slip and I knock that over.
Full body workout getting this guy over.
Right?
That's tight.
It is very tight.
I'm wondering, as far as, box sizes, what some of these companies have done. You know what I mean? That'd be an interesting thing to know.
right, we're almost there. There we go. You get that vacuum toward the end of the box, the lid pull, and it's very hard. Oh, there's like words and things on the side. Then the dragon will come, and the dormant monsters will answer its call. It says something on the other side too. It says the exact same thing on the other side.
Yeah. Good use of box space.
Alright, set that aside real quick and let's look at these first minis.
They are...
I need that knife again.
They're large.
They are quite large. Mini is only a term that we all use to understand what it means, but it is not a descriptor of size in any way. Because these are not mini.
I don't have... I'm like going through my mind right now trying to think of like what I even have in a box that's even relative to the same size. The good news is you only have to do this once.
Right? It's like, they packed it up well, that's for sure.
Well, that's what I was going to say about the shrink. I mean, as big as the box is, I've seen some huge Kickstarters come out. Like, it's just... like, between the weight and the size, it's tore up. I mean...
oh, that's funny. I love it. I love it.
So this is basically going to be mainly just what we're looking at. A bunch of minis, a bunch of cards for like the individual decks.
For the most part, yeah.
And then each one of these has their own board.
So no, the board is actually right over there. I got the neoprene board that came separate. So that is the board for all of the bosses. But they all have like their own character sheet, their own unique deck, and their own unique reactions. There's multiple decks for each one of the bosses.
Gotcha. So this, you said this was gameplay all in?
Yes, this is gameplay all in with a few additional add-ons. Like
Which the neoprene would be one?
The neoprene is one, the 3D terrain is another, and I think those are the only two add-ons that I got beyond the gameplay all in.
So we got a lot of bosses to...
We do have a lot of bosses. There's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bosses right here with the 4 little guys that are our characters, and they are quite little.
They are.
And it appears that there's some more bosses in the box too.
Yeah, I see the one that I said that was kind of wolf-ish.
You got the wolf-ish boss over there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we want to pull these out and look at them individually, or do we want to move on to the next portion?
I think we can look at these real quick. I can hold that if you want to, however you want to show them off.
Well,
but
I mean,
dude, this guy's...
So that's the big guy. He is he's pretty decent size. Do we have anything for scale on him? Because he is quite large.
I mean, I only see like, as far as height-wise, one of them that's even like somewhat close.
I'm not really sure the best way to present these on your... I guess I could always hold them up to the camera right there.
Well, I'll also say that I feel like the actual miniatures for like your characters are going to be more standard size, like Zombicide, and at least as far as the miniatures I've had.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They do appear to be more standard sized. Back those guys up so you can just see the scale difference there.
I know a lot of...
that guy's cool. Looks like Godzilla.
Yeah, he does. Or like a Tyrannosaur, as Ellie would say. I was going to say, I know that like a lot of the guys on Discord do like a ton of miniatures painting, so I know that like those guys are all going to be like, oh man, I want to paint those for you.
I would not say no if somebody wanted to paint these, because that is not my skill set.
No.
And these guys look like they would be fun to paint if that is your hobby.
Yeah, I just think it's more of a time thing for me. I like I like painting a little bit, but I feel like it's a whole nother hobby on its own.
This guy kind of reminds me of like a T-Rex mixed with a bloater from The Last of Us.
His head.
Yeah. He kind of looks like he's got the parasite from The Last of Us, the cordyceps.
Now you're gonna be able to figure out where all these go back to.
Probably not. That's what editing is for.
For sure. Do they have a, I mean, I know that these have good little, I mean, these are always, you know, as far as getting, like, its own insert, very, very cool, but I feel like a lot of games will do kind of like an organizer, little, like, tip sheet.
Yeah, so there is a organizer tip sheet in the rule book.
Okay.
Like I said, I glanced through the PDF of the rule book and kind of got an idea of it, but I didn't have a chance to get full detailed out rules. One cool thing about this rule book is it looks intimidating with how large it is. Most of it is just pictures.
Yeah, no.
Most of it is just pictures, and I was quite intimidated with the 118-page rule book or something. And then I find out most of it's just pictures showing the bosses and showing all the different cards and components that come with it. And
Yeah, is there like a whole section, because you can like jump right in and kind of play any of these bosses at like any level. And they have like some pre-built, they have like pre-built deck recommendations in the rule books for
yes,
like that.
Yes. So you can do any of these bosses as a one-shot expedition, or you can do the campaign where the individual boss fights are quite a lot shorter. I think it's about 30 to 45 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, for the campaign missions. But if you wanted to do the one-shots, then it extends up to about 2 hours or so.
For the one-shot?
Yeah, for the one-shot. So you can do multiple campaign missions, or you can do a much longer expedition. There's the wolf guy.
Yeah, he looks dope.
Looks like Kurama. I want this painted like I want this painted like Kurama. Although this one reminds me of like a really angry Gary from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Obviously Gary's a snail, not a crab, but like the shell is what gives me Gary vibes.
Yeah.
Obviously it could be Mr. Krabs too.
That guy looks pretty cool too.
This guy looks like he's posing for like a model shoot. Like
he's posing and this guy's just looking dead down. Like
right,
he's crazy.
Right. Yeah, no, this one reminds me of like a model shoot. All right, put your paw up on the rock. Now look this way. All right, smile.
So that's what, 12?
I wasn't counting as I was going. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Oh, wow. So it's like 12 and then you got this massive in-game dragon.
Yeah, this guy's the big in-game one, but you can just see the wingspan on him versus the size of all the others. And yeah, these are very large miniatures, very highly detailed as well. They look really good.
Yeah, for sure. In a game like this, they kind of have to. I don't know if you want to like throw them on for like size representation, because do you think the neoprene is the exact same size as the actual game board that it came with?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, so let's clear some of these guys out and put.
Yeah, just for scale.
Just for scale, yeah,
for sure. I mean, once you get it on the table, like it's a whole other thing. Like I told Geoff, like he sent me pictures, but like it doesn't do it justice. Once you get this thing actually on a table right in front of you, these things are quite large.
We're finding spots to put these. All right. So I have to put the big dragon on it.
Yeah, for sure. Because
this is the big guy that we need to put on there. So that's kind of how he would be. He's facing one direction. He's got his head, his tail, and then his two. There's a specific term in the rule book that I can't think of.
As far as what they're facing, or
yeah, there's specific terms.
They use the word flank as far as the sides go.
Flank, that's probably what it is. Thank you. I'll just put one in each quadrant so you can kind of get an idea.
So
See
like,
if we can get that guy out from underneath the wingspan.
so other than just being kind of being either in front, sides, flank, like on the flanks or behind, like movement's not like super crazy. Like this is more about like comboing and doing attacks and stuff.
So the main gameplay loop is you play cards to do damage or do things, whether it's healing yourself, healing your teammates, providing support somewhere. There's also terrain that you have to account for, which also goes into each one of the quadrants, so that'll impact whether or not the boss can see you, what kind of damage you can do on the boss, whether you're negatively impacted because it's a rocky terrain or something. Like I said, I have only skimmed the rulebook, so I can't give specifics yet, but that's kind of my understanding thus far. And most of the game takes place via the cards.
Yeah.
The bosses all have their own unique decks, and how they respond to what you do is based on what deck you draw from and what the card says.
Nice. No, like I like deck building, so it's like a huge like, you know, getting like really cool miniatures in a deck building game.
I think the deck building aspect is really only more for the campaign though.
Okay.
Because if you're doing the one-shot expeditions, I think they give you a preset, like, go grab these cards. This is the deck that you need in order to do something at this difficulty level. I could be mistaken, but that's my understanding.
Finally getting to some paper components.
Character sheets.
Here's your massive rule book, but I have heard it's quite good. So like, don't let this, like you said, don't let the size intimidate you. It's thick, but it's also really well written from what I've heard as far as being able to go through it.
This is not just the rule book. This is the rule book and probably the campaign book. There's 2 books here. I don't want to use that. Maybe I should use that.
Sometimes when stuff's shrunk really good, it's a good thing, but it's a pain to get off. So each one of the characters has their own little player board too.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can play this game solo, but it recommends that if you do play solo, then you play 2 characters. Yeah, so this is the rule book then, I guess. And based on my looking at it earlier, you got your back index, a bunch of areas that give you key terms to know, and then once you get past that, there's a lot of just like full page pictures, which makes it quite a lot less intimidating. Especially since, like, back here, this is all deck lists for different expeditions that you might want to do.
So really, you're just kind of now just getting into the rules there as far as...
Yeah, like this is all just set up for these expeditions. You want to do Expedition 1 against this boss, this is the setup. So, lots of large pictures. So it makes it quite a lot less intimidating. But it is a 120-page rulebook.
And that you said that's campaign book?
This is the campaign book. I have not looked at this at all. This is all brand new to me. Looks like also a 100+ page campaign book. You got a cool little map here.
Yep.
Different campaign chapters. Oh, yep, lots of reading.
So this is going to be a lot of story, a lot of flavor text.
Yeah. That was all chapter 1 right there. It's like chapter 2, chapter 3. Oh, okay, so they speed up. It ends up being a lot less than once you get into the chapters. But it looks like the quest numbers are getting kind of high there, because like that, I'm on chapter 8, page 29, and it's unlocked quest 25. Which, if it's a 120+ page campaign book, quest 25 on page 29 is okay.
So the quest's going to be like just kind of like side goals as far as trying to complete specific things while you're battling?
I'm not entirely certain.
Gotcha.
I'm not entirely certain. I know it plays a lot where there's like a central hub area that you go to in between trying to find the bosses, very much like Monster Hunter.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, what else have we got still in that book then to look at?
So we got, like I said, some player boards. Probably more than just player boards.
Probably more than... This is probably player boards and maybe even boss boards.
Boss boards. This looks like it's kind of some card setup potential with the...
With the basic,
board, yeah,
the basic board game, or board, yep. So yeah, we've got player boards where you hold your equipment. Looks like some kind of additional potions, maybe some extra items.
So we got what? Thoreg. He's got a hammer. Mira, she's kind of a bow hunter.
Yeah, she's kind of off screen there. Looks like a nice, large, great bow.
Yeah. Is that Jornar? I don't know.
Lonar?
Lonar.
I don't know.
Sword and shield guy. Huge defender looking dude for sure.
Yep, and then Darian with a great sword.
Yeah, he's got a massive sword, but I mean, the massive sword doesn't look so big when it's sitting next to these huge monsters.
It does not. It really does not. It looks quite small.
But like all the artwork, it's like, I don't know, like Final Fantasy's status.
Yeah,
huge sword.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of these bosses remind me of larger Final Fantasy style characters and enemies too. So.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, these are all the player boards, and then we've got, looks like all the boss boards. So it lists weaknesses, life tracker, probably reaction cards.
So I think some of the scaling is based on like you do so much damage and then they like take one wound and then it just kind of like down ticks it. So like depending on what level you are, depends on how much damage you have to. Like,
I believe so. Yeah.
Inflict a wound.
Yep.
And probably starts where their starting health is too, possibly. So.
Yep. And I believe every one of these bosses, once you get down to a certain level of health, their play style changes. They get more aggressive.
Oh yeah. They got like different cards that they flip.
Yep.
Gotcha.
The artwork is really cool.
And as massive as his box is, like I don't see this being like a huge like table hog either. You know,
it doesn't.
It looks like it would be pretty manageable on most tables. Like just from seeing the player mats, you know, the main board and then like the boss board. Like I don't feel like it's
once you get everything that you need on the board, it looks like it's actually pretty condensed. When you think about how big all of the boxes and all the bosses are, you're only going to have one boss on the board at any given time.
Yeah.
And so the board itself doesn't appear to be too large.
No.
It really just comes down to, at that point, how many decks you have to
Player
have.
count.
Yeah. How many decks you have to have for players and also the boss.
What's this one? What do you think that is? Just
I'm not sure. Maybe it's like a custom boss thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's no name. There's a life tracker. You still got your card placements, but there's no weaknesses or any kind of things up here that we have to account for.
Are they double-sided? Nope, just artwork.
Just artwork on the back, it looks like. But this one, yeah, just artwork as well.
Huh, interesting.
I'm not sure what that one's for. But I'm thinking these were in the order of when you fight the bosses, so I'm just going to reverse this real quick.
Yeah, that makes sense. So did they do
That's
any
the guy
kind
that
of
looks
like
Godzilla to me?
Yeah. Did they do any like kind of TTS mods or anything like with this before it came out?
I believe so. I believe there was a TTS of the first boss that you could play. Of this guy, the Varaxin.
He's maybe this guy. I mean, no, it's probably that one for sure.
Yeah,
Standard Dragon.
Yeah, that guy. Even this guy, like first boss, he's still he's still pretty large. Okay. So what do you think this one is then? This is the basic board.
Yeah, I just didn't know what this little. Like I said, this has almost got a little like card spot in there. As far as like maybe kind of where you go to upgrade stuff, I don't know.
Maybe.
Because, yeah, they have a whole, like, forging element from what I can see down here as far as, like, building better cards.
Yeah.
And equipment or whatnot, so.
Yeah, like you have to gather up resources to do something, and maybe it takes a couple campaign missions before it's ready to use.
I will say, as much plastic as we have on that table, there's still quite a bit of paper in the bottom of that box.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is for. It's just a
Map with, like...
map of something. It's quite thick. Clearly you put cards there of some kind.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
And then this is the actual game board that came with it. Like I said, I got the neoprene version, so... But it is double-sided. The neoprene is also double-sided, so...
Do you know what the difference as far as that impacts as far as gameplay goes?
The double-sided?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
It has, like you said, that has, like, extra circles on it.
Yeah, so you've got your basic circle with the main 4 quadrants, and I believe, like, a time tracker over here. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. You got the same thing over here, but you've got 4 outer circles instead. So, I'm not sure.
Maybe, if you have to start in those outer circles, it could potentially, like, you almost gotta, like, move into position on the first turn. That's the only thing I can think of, though.
Could be. Could be.
But even then, you still have, like, an option at maybe 2 spots, so... I don't know. It's weird. Alright, I'll set this off to the side. I don't know if you want to slide the mat out of the way, but I'll grab this insert, because, like I said, it's... I mean, I think as far as storage goes, like, for being a big box, it's...
It seems to be well organized.
It's not too bad.
It seems to be well organized, and it feels like it's not going to be that difficult for setup.
No.
There's not a ton you have to do for setup, and most of the game takes place with, like I said, the cards as you go, so... Alright, so... Campaign tracker sheet. Oh, lots of campaign tracker sheets.
How many campaigns are we going to play?
I don't know, man.
I feel like I always think of that when they give you, like, these huge stacks of paper, and, like, the other thing is like, even, like, on score sheets on some games, a lot of people don't even, like, won't even use those. They'll just, like, calculate it on their phone or whatnot.
Looks like 49 quests. You level up the Forge. You level up the Herbalist. I probably can't be read on the screen, but it's like 11 campaign chapters. Lots of stuff. And this is character sheets, so this is for, like, rebuilding your character as you play, just so you know what skills you have, what you've done.
Kind of like saving your character in between on, like, Gloomhaven or something like that.
This appears to be different things that you can get at the Forge or the Herbalist based on what level they are. Thank you.
Can't remember what game I unboxed.
Herbalist level 1. There's a lot here for me to already be on Herbalist level 2 right there. Herbalist level 3. Fire for... Oh!
They got different symbols.
Well, so you've got your Herbalist levels right here, so Herbalist 1, 2, and 3, but you've got your Fire Forge level 1, your Horn Forge level 1, your Crystal Forge level 1, Coral Forge level 1, Thunder Forge level 1, Metal Forge, and then it goes up to level 2 for everything again, and then level 3 for everything again. So you've got multiple different pieces of gear that cost different things for multiple different forges. It is the same thing on the backside. It appears to be the same thing on the backside.
So, a lot of crafting, potentially, as far as making yourself better as you're playing through the campaign.
It does appear that there would be a lot of crafting, yes.
I do like the fact that it's got, you know, like you said, you can one-shot it, you can get a game in, but, you know, if you get super into this and you want to really, really dive deep, there's the potential to do that.
Absolutely. Okay, so... looks like some kind of gear of some kind. We've got a lot of different decks and cards now.
Dividers.
Yeah, dividers, organizers.
It's always good. It's always good.
It is very good. Do not open until instructed. I was not instructed. I'm glad that they gave me bags.
The only thing I can think of specifically those could be for is all those punch-out tokens.
Looks like characters. So many decks of cards.
Yep.
So many decks of cards. Probably will open up a few of those, but we're not going to look at all of them.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of cards.
A lot of punch-out tokens of various things.
So those are like the terrain, which you said you got the terrain minis?
Yep, so I went ahead and did the 3D terrain as well, so I probably won't punch these out, but we'll look at them real quick.
Some of them look like some damage tokens at the bottom.
So yeah, bunch of different terrains, bunch of different tokens of all sorts of things that I don't know what they mean yet.
Probably status effects, maybe.
Probably status effects, yeah. They're not the same front and back.
Those are got the like a +5 modifier.
Yeah, so it's like it's got the 5s on this side and the 10s on these two, but on this side this is +5 and these don't have anything. So a bunch of different tokens for various things. I don't know, which one of these decks do you want to look at?
I mean,
there's a
probably
lot of
just like
a lot of cards.
Maybe a character deck. See what it kind of consists of. Then again, I don't know if they're all going to be like. I mean, you've seen the way they shrink wrap, so it might be kind of hard to.
My guess is there's a lot of stuff that are just.
You're gonna have to organize.
Yeah, you're gonna have to organize it, and it's not gonna be easy to just identify this is a character deck. Looks like gear. The gear comes as like these square cards, which that's interesting. I've never seen a game that does like a full-on square card before, because it is a card. It is not cardboard in any kind. So
yeah, I mean, I got some ones that use them for like movement, as far as like spaces, board spaces almost. I'm trying to think what else I got. I got something else that I feel like has maybe a couple.
okay, well let's.
But yeah, tons of cards.
Let's look at this one. I'm just going to grab one. It's got a hammer on it. Maybe there's a character deck in here.
Maybe. But I do like the fact that they have little dividers, so you can hopefully, almost like it's ready-ish to go when you get it out.
Anything that helps you organize it to get it back into play quicker for setup. That's good in my book.
Do you know what size the deck sizes are on these?
Like the card sizes?
No, like your player decks. Like how many cards you got?
I don't.
I feel like I remember seeing it was like 15 or something like that. I thought it was weird because a lot of deck builders you'll have like a 10 and then you'll add 2. But like you said, you don't really add too much to it until between games.
Right. So these have all got hammers on them. Likely these are the player cards.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my guess. So.
Yep.
That seems pretty straightforward. Bludgeon, assist, confuse the monster. That seems pretty straightforward. Charge, choose a player to draw 1. Concussion, stun the monster. Bunch of assist cards. So it looks like the blue ones are the assist cards. Looks like red is
maybe an attack?
Modifier of some kind. Increase this damage this attack deals. A lot of different options, though. I'm not seeing any duplicates. They are all unique, it appears.
And you got blue, red,
yeah, so
yellow, and
blue,
green.
red, yellow, green. Yep. Looks like there's some more yellow and red in here.
And then the is the little like, is this like the cost as far as playing cards, or?
I'm not sure because you've got the number up here.
Yep.
So the 0 and the 1, but then there's also these little blood droplets on the bottom. So that one's got 1, that one's got 2, that one's got 3, and a little word impetus It's impossible to read on that, but
Yeah.
I looked up at the camera and it's like, no,
Yeah,
no, you
nope,
can't.
I
You
cannot.
can't see that.
So you think the S's are for a starter? Like maybe your starter deck? And then you
Possibly, because there's a bunch of S's right here, but that's A1. That's B1,
Huh.
C1, C2, D1, D2, D2. It's hard to tell.
We will have to figure that out.
For sure. So that looked like a character deck of some kind. There's a bunch more over here. There's monster. It appears like a monster deck of some kind. Yeah, there's a lot of organization that's going to be required for this.
Yeah, we'll have to do that over drinks.
For sure.
Separate them all out. Okay, so we can. So that is pretty much the core box, though, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything on the core box. There's nothing left over there, huh?
Nope. Got nothing.
So we've got a ton of expansions over there.
Sell like a packet and some 2 cardboard things that look like they put them in there so that the tray didn't like rub too much into the box. So we'll go ahead and put this back. I mean, we won't put it all up, but we can get some of that back up and we can start looking at some of the other stuff. I'm down with that.
Yeah, let's get this organized and we can pull out those expansions and look at some more stuff.
Absolutely. I got it over here. I was gonna say is I don't remember what game it was, but I had so much shrink on the floor by the time I got done with it.
Component storage, 116. That is not component storage, that is index.
I think it's the next one. Thought I saw it at the very, very end.
Well, the fact that index is not listed on here. Like, component storage, 116. 116, index.
There we go.
Okay, so top tray, bottom tray. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that is, should get a pretty good sense of where things go. Trash can over there.
No. That's definitely an oversight on my part.
Okay. Well, if there's no trash can, I'm not going to feel bad about putting it on the floor.
You shouldn't. I've had some very, very extensive cleanups. Is this a order thing? Oh yeah. I was trying to get that guy in. I was like, he's not going in. You gotta put him in. This guy, like, you gotta put him in before you can put that.
It's like, let's just grab the big guy first, because he's easy to identify. Bang.
Boom.
Bang. All of them back in. That's brilliant. They've got these little things.
Oh, the grooves, so you
yeah, they got grooves where you can't put it in backwards or put it on backwards. Smart.
What was the little? Do you know what that little plastic thing was for, or is it just?
This was sitting right on top of these.
Does it kind of feel like it?
Does it feel like it? What do you mean?
I just mean, you think it's more for putting something on top or for keeping those in?
Probably both. Probably both. 'Cause it seems to do a pretty good job of something like that.
Yeah, this is definitely one that you're not going to want to take out of the box too often.
So this all was in that portion, right?
Yes. I want to say... Well, do they have a... Is it listed? Yeah, I was going to say... Is there a recommended way to put all of these?
Board sheets and punch boards, oversized card. Yeah, so board sheets, all that right here.
Does it say what goes, like layers between? Okay, so this is board, sheets, and punch boards. So the punch boards are all at the bottom.
It's kind of just a catch-all. If it fits, If it fits, it ships. Just figure it out. Just like everything that we don't know where it goes right there.
Yeah. Boom.
Science.
They have like a notch in this, so this sits up higher than I would like it.
I think it'll be better once those punch boards are gone.
Yeah.
You know, once we've punched everything and they're in the Ziploc bags, there's going to be a little bit more space in that area.
Absolutely. There's literally
when you start to press down and you can watch the box just like bulge out from the vacuum. Yeah.
It's like there's not enough air. There's not enough place for the air to go when you push that down. So this is all the extra expansion content.
Yeah, so this is the rest of the gameplay all in, plus one additional box. Not that one. This one over here. This is
terrain box.
Yep, the 3D terrain. That was an additional add-on that I did, but the other 5 boxes that you can see was all part of the gameplay all in.
And you said you were the most excited about checking out characters, so we can do those first just because...
Yeah, so because the thing that excited me about it is this right here is the 5th player expansion. This is a easy way to identify all of the character components.
For sure.
There's no other fluff in here. I know that this is all tied to this character. This is what she gets. Well, she's got a really cool, almost like Gatling gun crossbow thing. So
we'll get into that. We'll get into that first.
It's like it's harder to identify everything that a player needs in the other box until we go through the time to organize everything. But this is a very easy, concise way to be like, oh yes, this is everything that you get as a character. So, a lot of French. Reggie Games is a French company, so there's a lot of French on the boxes.
I'm assuming that then this is probably at least available in French.
Oh yes, I believe so. All right. So Mount Havoc Expansion. Got a little bit of a rule book here, it looks like. All of the components. New rules, new keywords. Oh, Mount Havoc campaign. So there's a little campaign associated with this as well. It's not just an additional character.
Nice.
In fact, it looks like it's 2 additional characters.
A little variety now.
I thought it was only 1 additional, but it looks like it's 2 additional characters. Huh. Interesting. Okay.
So a little bit more to look at than we were expecting, but
I'm not upset about it.
No.
I thought it was only 1 additional character. I got excited about it when I first looked at it, but like I said, it was January of 2021 when I actually backed this, and I didn't get this until May of 24. Yeah. So I kind of forgot about a lot of this. I probably knew at one point there were 2 characters.
Fair enough.
But Kara with... That's cool. That's a like dual blade Kara. It's like a mix between Kitara and maybe Melina a little bit from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Kitana. I said Kitara. That's Avatar.
Yeah.
I said that's Avatar. But that's cool.
No, I like that. Got two new characters.
More
and like
punch
I said,
boards.
I'm imagining with like the deck builds.
More forge levels. More character sheets. Some silicate gel. And then yeah, couple new minis. These are always the little ones.
We can leave those out when we get one of those other monster boxes out if you want to be able to do a set scoopers.
Yeah, so the square cards are the gear, or maybe not all of the gear, because it looks like these larger cards are the gear too. We didn't open up any of these out of the last one, so let's take a look at these.
Absolutely.
My Garmin watch is not very good. It thinks that I just got my step goal, sitting here.
Dude, I mean, this is a massive unboxing, so it knows.
Well, I mean, I went to the gym earlier, so I got a lot of steps in, but... So, yeah, so armor, more armor, red scale armor, level 1, level 2, level 3, spined armor, level 1, level 2, level 3, rebuff plate, level 1, level 2, level 3. So this is all, looks like armor of some kind, and it appears that, I'm imagining you defeat a boss, you get the loot, you take that loot, and you craft this specific armor based on the boss that you killed.
Yeah.
Just like Monster Hunter. Lots of different armors. I'm not seeing, oh, okay, I was about to say I don't see any weapons, but then I see a spear. Skeletal spear. Big jaws. That's a bear trap.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a bear trap. My question is if you're gonna be able to re-gear and keep some of this stuff, and based on what boss you're about to go up against, you can kind of alter your setup a little.
My guess is yes.
Heck yeah.
Crystal spear, shimmering boots. I'm guessing that each one of these weapons too is there's gonna be certain weapons that are more effective against certain bosses, and you got to make sure you bring the correct gear in to handle whatever that boss is gonna give you. Whether it's fire or ice or any other element that's just a bomb. That just says explosive. That just says explosive, and that is just a bomb. There is nothing. There is no flavor text there. This thing explodes. That's all that it does.
Bomb to a dragon fight,
Okay. So yeah, and then look at a bunch of potions.
So those are gonna be all on top of. With the other stuff that's you already got. Yes. You think it'll be just campaign specific to that, or?
I'm
sure at some point it's do what you want to do.
My guess is it might be campaign specific because, well, maybe not. Maybe this is all additional stuff based on the core game. All of those expansions are going to be campaign specific because you fight that boss and then you get that gear. So it'll be tied to that expansion. So... yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff. Let's see. The backs might give me a better indication of what I'm looking at because those at least are a little bit more organized.
Separate them out.
Yeah, so these are all, yep, these have all got the same back. So it looks like, I don't know. I don't know what these are.
Huh. Maybe almost like a randomizer.
Yeah, I don't know what those are because I don't recognize any of those names as any of the bosses either. Now I could be wrong.
Yeah. That looks like a boss name, but some of them look like character names too.
Okay, so that's just one card with that backing. Just says wound. You're injured.
Different mechanic.
Oh, so it looks like these are just more character cards. So that's the great sword, that's the hammer, that's the great bow, that looks like the Gatling crossbow, and then the twin fan looking things. So, okay, so these are all character cards. Wound, bleeding. These are probably status effects that you're forced to put into your deck. And you don't know what you're going to get until you draw it. That's what these are. Cool. I love getting wound cards that have
clog your deck up.
Yeah. I mean that's a deck builder for you. This style of deck builder, at least. So yeah, that's all that this is. Venom. Lots and lots of Venom cards. Oh my gosh. All of these are Venom cards.
I don't like Venom. Venom sucks.
This card can only be used to generate stamina. When you discard this card from your hand, suffer damage equal to your weapon level. I don't like that. Yeah. Paralyzing Spore, bleeding, debility. More wound cards. If you didn't have enough wound cards, you got some more wound cards.
Hey, they didn't want you to run
out. I think if I ran out of wound cards, I would just die. I think that's how that works. Here's more character deck or character cards. Yeah, these are all the character-specific cards
Because they
now.
got the actual symbol on the back.
Yeah, so it looks
I gotcha.
like a lot of these were just additional wound and paralyze and additional status effect cards to add to the base game, but the rest of this appears to be these are the character-specific decks. So, okay. Well, we've looked at a lot of these already before. Let's take a look at this, because this is another one of those.
Yeah, we didn't look at the bigger.
We did not look at the bigger ones. I like the reference card. There's a reference card already right there. There's a lot of keywords, but I'm thinking most of it is going to be there's a limited number of keywords per scenario.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have them all memorized for each scenario. So, okay, so weapons then. Dual blade, dragon wings, dancing bones, tidal waves. These are all really cool. That's a cool weapon.
Yeah, no. And they look very much kind of like the dual things that, Kiara has going on. So, Kitana.
Yeah, the fans. Yeah, the moonblades. That's very much what I'm thinking. Oh, so something that I didn't notice until just now. A few of these, the art actually changes based on the level.
Yeah.
I know.
Even ever so slightly on the 2 to 3, but yeah.
Yeah, so you can see the feathers change here, and it gets a little bit more feathers for the twin blade.
Nice
I
little touch.
didn't notice that on some of the earlier ones.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's a nice little touch. And then those are all going to be guns.
That's just a sniper rifle. That is just a sniper rifle. Ignis.
Yeah. They got to have one in every game.
Well, there's multiple guns in here. Yeah, so this is clear. So that Gatling gun crossbow is really just more a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of guns.
Lots of guns. Lots of guns. That's more of a crossbow.
Yeah, it looks more like what she's got on the...
Yeah, that one's winged cannon. I would say that's more of a crossbow, but it says it's a cannon, so I'm going to go with read the card. RTFC. Frost gun. Cool. Celestial gunbow. That's cool. Oh, that's a legendary card too.
Yeah, I didn't know the gearing was gonna be like. I didn't know how the gearing was gonna work as far as it being like character specific, or you just kind of go after what you want.
It looks like it's all going to be character specific, but it's also going to be tied to loot. So my guess is that there's a limited amount of loot after each boss, and depending upon who gets what loot is who can craft what. So you might have access to every single weapon, but if the team decides that that particular resource goes to someone else, maybe you just don't get to craft that particular weapon.
Gotcha.
All right. Let's look at the terrain box.
Let's check the terrain out.
3D terrain. My guess is this is just going to be a box of minis of rocks and plants and, yeah, things like that.
I did. I got the terrain for something. I can't remember.
I liked the idea of the terrain for this game. This was not an initial purchase for me. Right. I did the gameplay all in, and then I think maybe 2 years later, I went back and looked at it, and I was like, I kind of want the 3D terrain because it gives a little bit more board presence, but also the terrain directly impacts how you play, and I feel like having a mini represent something that is like having the high ground would be better than just, a piece of cardboard. Yeah. Yeah, so things like that right there on the board, I feel like that would impede my line of sight, and it feels better. Oh.
I dropped a rock on it.
Hey, yeah. Hey, rock beats scissors, so... Yeah, so that would impede line of sight, and I feel like that's a better representation than a piece of cardboard that I just have to remember, I have bad line of sight. Whereas this would give the high ground and I can see over things now.
That's cool.
That was the main reason. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
this is like a shrub that I could hide in, and then the boss doesn't have as much visibility on me. So that was the main reason why I wanted to get this. This portion was not an initial back. It was a after the fact, multiple years later, I saw some stuff in the Pledge Manager and decided, you know what? I think I want to add this on.
I like the high ground. I mean, I could definitely get your logic with the high ground, because even with just standing on a token, like, you're not going to be any more elevated than anything else.
Right, but that gives it a lot more board presence, and it's easier to identify what each one of the terrains means in any given situation. Now, something like this, I don't really know what... I won't know what that is until I get into the game, but could be cool, could be not.
More just cosmetic.
Yeah, but hey, it's a very mini-focused game, so I wanted to make sure that I had as many minis as I could have for the mini-focused game.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like I said, I think as far as, you know, your logic behind as far as some of the status effects, whether you're hiding or whether you're higher up and it'll, you know, improve your attack, definitely makes sense to me. These all... I'll just put those on top. You want to check out the minis on the other ones? What do you think?
Yeah, let's take a look at them. I think we're gonna... I don't see the need to
Go through all of them.
dive into any of the cards or any of the decks or anything, but yeah, let's take a look at the minis just so we can see kind of what the expansions are. So there's 4 additional expansions.
Yep, that one is...
This is the Feather expansion. It's a little odd that it's clearly an enemy that's on the ground. I would have expected more of a flyer, but you know, hey. I don't see feathers on this guy. Seems odd that he's part of the Feather expansion. Just saying.
Now, did they like plan on having all this stuff, or was a lot of this like
cool.
crowdfunding?
That's cool art. I noticed that. It's almost like a... Let me get the shrink wrap off so it's not glaring, but... That's some cool art. I'm getting like Plague Doctor, you know, witch vibes.
Yeah.
You know, you got the mask here. Obviously, it's not exactly a Plague Doctor mask, but it's very similar. The lantern, it's cool.
Yeah. So were these like extra stuff they had, or was this stuff they planned to do from the very get-go as far as the expansions? Was this stuff they just added on?
I think a lot of them might have been stretch goals.
Gotcha.
But they got every single stretch goal that they put in, so I think that was also part of the reason why I didn't have the 3D terrain originally. I think that was a late stretch goal. That was... Maybe I could be wrong, but this is... My memory is that was like a late stretch goal that I didn't know was going to be a thing initially. So, Feather Forge.
Feather Forge.
Pazis and Nagaras.
No, at least that's
a feather.
Yeah.
There's a few feathers here. This guy's cool. All right, Nagarius. Yeah, why wasn't he on the box?
I don't know. They thought it looked as good. There's
some terrain. Some unique terrain. Yep. More cards. More silicate gel. I'm not gonna look at those cards.
So much plastic.
I don't have an issue with a lot of plastic so long as the plastic serves a purpose. If it's one of those where you open up the game and the plastic only serves the purpose of shipping the game, and then once you open it you actually discard a lot of it, that's where I have a problem. But all of these are set up as organizers, and so I have less of an issue with it. That guy's pretty cool. This guy needs to be painted.
Yeah, because I was wondering if adding a lot of this stuff potentially slowed down the production of the game.
Oh, so that's a pretty weak tail on this guy. So they've got a little plastic. I'm not going to remove that. They've got a little plastic piece here to protect this tail because it flexes a little bit. I'm not going to remove it right now, but...
Yep.
Cool. All right. They're a lot more sandwiched in here as well.
So that's 21 total boxes then, if we add all the expansion?
Something like that. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's 13 for the base game, right?
13.
Plus 2, I believe, per box over here, so another 8. So yeah, 21.
That is...
Got another campaign book. If you didn't have enough campaign books, you've got another campaign book. Another map. More scenarios.
I mean, definitely one of those games where you want to play all the bosses, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But how many times you can... I don't know what kind of time, you know, it's going to take to go through, like, a full campaign run.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I think the campaign missions themselves are shorter than the one-shots, so it does speed up things a little bit in that regard, but... This is one of those that if we want to... Oh, there's some cards. To get the full experience, it's going to take a lot of playing.
Well, fortunately, every Kickstarter I thought I would have by now is delayed, so...
Fortunately, because we've established that this is not a very large board or table presence game, I can play at home.
Nice.
I don't have a very large table to play, and so any games that are table hogs, I just don't get to play at home for that reason. I have to take them places. Alright, so this one is the Venom Expansion. I'm guessing we're going to have more Venom cards in here. If we didn't have enough before, we're going to get some more, would be my guess. I don't know if there's a plan for a retail release of this one.
I mean, to be honest...
I feel like there should be.
I mean, I think it's been pretty well received as far as, like, people that have talked about it since the campaign, but, like, I feel like you almost have to scale... You almost have to have a retail edition, like, scaled down...
I think it's individual pieces, you know? Like, you just buy the core game and then get the expansions as needed, as opposed to me, who bought it all at once.
I just mean how massive the box is for the core. I mean, I could see a lot of people just being like, oh, no, that's a lot. That's too much.
Could be. Could be. Haidar and Reichel. So some kind of snake and some kind of, like, I don't know, monster-looking thing. I don't know what else to describe them. There's a lot of monster-looking things in all of these boxes. We got a Venom Forge.
So each box looks like it's coming with its own new type of forge.
Yep. More terrain, maybe some kind of swamp terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another bunch of cards again. If you didn't have enough cards, I got some more cards.
It is said that even the ancient is afraid of reliving that memory.
So, you know how when I first got here, I was a little upset that the core game does not fit into my board game bag? The core game does not fit into my board game bag. I have a quite large board game bag, and the core game by itself does not fit. Fun fact. I would be okay with having a box that fits everything with the knowledge that it's not going to fit in my bag. But, like, give me a big box. Give me a Scythe big box for Primal, for all of it.
I mean, if you reorganized... I mean, the miniatures are obviously the thing that takes up the most space. But yeah, if you reorganize it all, I don't know, the box is massive. I don't even know how you would do that. I mean, I guess it would never fit on a standard shelf. It would just have to stand alone regardless.
And I'm okay with that, with the knowledge of everything that I have. My aggravation with the core box not fitting was why not? You know, like
if you weren't gonna fit, make it not fit really bad.
Yeah, like it almost fits. It's one of those like I think it's gonna fit. I try to do it. No, just a little bit. I feel like if I tried to force it, it's gonna tear my bag.
So note to future games to come out. If your box is already gonna be unstandardized and rather large, and you have additional content, just make it even bigger.
Make it even bigger. Just lean into it.
Because then you have an excuse. You're like, hey, we got everything in there,
Just accept the reality that you're going to be a massive game and just lean into the size.
I mean, you're already going to make everybody mad that didn't want a large block pad anyways. You might as well just make it twice as much.
Precisely.
You didn't do it. You didn't make your game small, so why would you go about pissing people off any less?
Oh, this guy probably fits in there in a specific way.
Oh man.
I thought I got it in a specific way because there's a little notch there. I figured the wood was supposed to fit in that little notch, but the wood piece does not fit in that little notch.
There we go.
It's more like that.
That fits.
Well, now his tail's in the way. Maybe more like...
I'm looking at the shape. And I feel like it almost needs to go... Like, his head's lower, so maybe that's the back of his head and that's the tip of the tail.
Like
Yeah.
maybe? I already tried that orientation.
Oh, it's because of
this thing is driving it. It's either right here or it's in this spot. So
I got you.
So if we go like that. Nope.
Or do we have it? Can it flip the other way, or does it locks again? No. Nope. Negative.
These don't have the notches that tell me which way to put it on. I feel like you were onto something right here.
Here, if you want to hand me that stuff, I will hand you another box to get the shank off, and I will mess with it for a second.
Okay. That's the first one that I've tried to put on, and it just did not. It doesn't work. I mean, it does work. Obviously, it came on. But. All right, so we got the ice expansion here. Kind of hard to see with the shrink wrap, but that's cool. It's a cool little art on the back. Let's get the shrink off so we can see that a little clearer. At least I'm not the only one struggling to put those back in.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have felt really bad if you had just got it instantly. Come on. Alright. So, yep. Ice expansion, more campaign book, more rule book, more Ice Forge. That's a cool boss. That's a cool looking boss. It's like a winter fox, but like with some kind of armored head thing. I don't know. Not a very good description at all, but that's a cool looking boss. And some kind of ice dinosaur thing.
Yeah, I'm perplexed. I wish we both would have taken a better look at it when it came up.
See, here's the thing. I got a strategy for this next one. I'm going to make sure I take the lid off in the same orientation. I'm not going to turn anything. I don't think this one will have the same problem, but you never know.
It's weird.
Okay. This guy doesn't give me any kind of like... I know how to put this guy back in.
Yeah, he only goes in.
He only goes one way. And this other one, this little fox thing, is so small that it doesn't look like it matters too much. But all right, just a little winter fox of some kind with an armored head. We can set that aside and try.
No. Like I'm feeling like it's without the tape on there.
Yeah, maybe. I have not been successful. Usually I just put it in and then I let the lid go on top. I have not been successful in that attempt. So, but yeah, this guy's look pretty cool. He's got like icicles coming off of him.
Oh, nice.
That's a cool looking boss for sure. Yeah, just icicles coming off all the way or down his tail. Did you see the winter fox?
Oh man, he's gruesome.
Yeah. Is there one more to go?
One more to go. And we have an Ice Forge. Man, that's gonna be... I feel like this is very intriguing, how these different weapon types are gonna work.
Looks like there's just there's gonna be so many different options as we get into it to do different things.
Well, this is one of the ones I figured once we figured out and we got, super efficient at it, was one that I thought we could do live on location at some point. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that'd just be a really good atmosphere, something like that.
It's got the board presence to have some people see it and be like, what is that?
Absolutely. And the last one.
Last expansion. We have got the Nightmare expansion.
Well, like I said, I think this is about the most excited thing that I've seen come in the last couple of years that I didn't personally like, and it's got a lot of depth.
For sure. The mountain looks like Mordor. I always got to compare it to what I know.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's an interesting phrase. So there's a little saying on all these boxes have had little sayings on it, and maybe you can see it on the screen. But if you had the strength not of one, but of all the monsters of Thyria, you could put an end to this nightmare for mankind. That's interesting. Does this mean that we are going to be able to control monsters in this expansion? Probably not, but one could hope.
Use some of these monsters against the other monsters.
Yes, that would be cool.
Oh my gosh.
There's 4 here. There's 4 bosses here. So we got some like armored thing. I don't know. They're all things. We got fire armored thing, ice armored thing, kind of buggish looking with his eyes too. Mm-hmm. A purple one. That's literally all that it is. It's just a purple one.
Okay.
His name's the same.
Almost.
Zekalith. Oh. Zakath.
Yeah.
Zekalith. Okay. And then the guy on the box. Oh, we only get 3 minis for that.
Okay, so it's kind of like a...
So it's a situational thing, You're going against, but the mini itself doesn't change. It's just going to be how you fight them that changes.
Monster variant kind of thing.
Yeah, so more cards, more tokens, more decks.
More silicon packets.
More silicon packets, yes.
I mean, there was no water. It was very, very dry box, so...
Good thing. Came on a boat. It's a good thing to have a dry box that came on a boat.
And as heavy as this game is, I can't imagine the boat was moving very fast. Would you say they have like three or four shipping waves or something like that?
Oh, it was a ton of shipping waves just in North America. I don't remember the number, but people started getting this game, I don't know, I want to say like late March, but I was on the tail end of the receiving because I did a weird combo. Doing the add-ons gave me like a weird combination of things, and so I did not have an easy one. All right, so we got the purple and blue. Was it blue? I think it was blue. Yeah, we got the purple and blue thing.
Yep. The Zakath, Zakalith.
Kind of gives me some xenomorph vibes.
Yeah.
Like with his head.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those teeth.
Oh, this guy's got a different track up here too. I just noticed that. I haven't seen any of them that have a second track.
Oh yeah.
Looks like a brain.
Yeah, and there's a little brain token right here.
Maybe
too,
this guy's smart.
No.
No, you don't think so?
No, I mean I don't want him to be smart.
You don't want him to be. So this is clearly this guy.
He legitimately looks.
Just looks like a T-Rex. Yeah, he's just a T-Rex.
The head sculpt.
I have to say, from like the minis to the artwork, this is the one that looks the least like the artwork.
Yeah.
This just looks like a T-Rex.
Especially the head.
And granted painting is going to improve, but like
absolutely
looking at like the head here, specifically like the eyebrows is kind of what I'm seeing. The eyebrows and the cheekbones, they don't match.
Yeah, the picture looks like it should be wider, and it looks more slender on the miniature.
Yeah, like it's the cheekbones, the jawline, the eyebrows, they don't match.
Yeah.
Heck, even like the purple spikes, they're more subdued down, looking like scales, that like flat scales on the mini, whereas they're kind of like spiked up on the artwork. So that's the first one that I've seen that's like, okay, that doesn't quite look like the same guy, but he's still cool. All right, and then the last one.
Definitely, probably the highlight of this box.
Yeah.
Very pronounced.
This is just a turtle.
Spikes.
This is an armored turtle. He's a cool armored turtle, though.
With like an ankylosaurus looking, almost spiky tail.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that. Yeah, the jawline is absolutely. This is a snapping turtle.
For sure.
He's gonna bite me. Although I'm confused why he has teeth here and no teeth here. But
yeah, they're little. They're small.
Anyway, I think that's all of them, right?
Yeah, I know. So that puts us up. Well, that's like one more mini than we thought we were gonna get. So what? 25?
22, right?
Yeah. It was 21.
We thought it was 21, and then this box had a surprise third that I didn't know about, or I didn't realize was in there. So yeah, so that brings the total bosses up to 22.
Welcome to the nightmare.
I'm excited to get into this game.
No, for sure. We're definitely gonna do some playthrough content of this. We'll probably talk about this on some tastings here and there as we get into it as well. Like I said, this is definitely the highlight as far as going into the summer, gaming wise, checking this out. So we got some plans as far as getting some kind of different content out, and we're gonna definitely try to do quite a bit of this game because there's quite a bit of content. So I mean, I don't feel like it's it's one of those things where we could do a couple one shots, and then we could also, maybe do like a 3-boss like intro to the campaign, just to kind of see what that crafting mechanism, what those
so there's a tutorial mission for the first boss in the rulebook, and that's kind of just a get started with the game. Here's how the different phases work. I'm a big fan of games that do that, where you don't have to read the entire rulebook to understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you an initial mission that kind of walks you through the rules and gives you different situations. That way I don't feel like I have to read the entire book and know all the different variants and options before I can start the first time.
Yeah, I feel like some of them are done really, really well too. And like you said, from what I've heard, this rulebook's really good. So I imagine the tutorial process should be relatively straightforward. I've seen a few that are, I'd rather just jump into it. But yeah.
I think in terms of tutorial game and tutorial missions in games, I think it needs to be like Jaws of the Lion is my pinnacle. That I feel like that's the best game for the tutorial missions to teach you all the different intricacies of the game.
Learn as you go.
Yeah, learn as you go, and that's kind of the standard that I hold a lot of them to when I get into things like this. So I'm hoping that Primal has a pretty solid intro tutorial mission.
All right, well, we're going to leave it here. Like I said, we're going to do some more content around this game, more content on other stuff going forward. But I hope you guys like this video. Definitely subscribe if you haven't, especially if you want to see more content for Primal. And I'll catch you on the next one. Much love.